So it's a very good morning, and we are here for London session. We'll begin it obviously London session begins in like 9 minutes, and I'm slightly delayed, but that's okay. Nothing to worry about. So let me just give my mic a quick test, and then we'll start. So yep, everything is working fine. Just one more thing that I need to do before we begin this. And well, yep. So there. Okay. So we were looking for higher prices on DXY, even though we were seeing these lows right there, but the market didn't really go lower. That's the gap we saw yesterday, and well, I am in two minds right now. DXY tends to be a, mostly a pain in the ass. It just tends to be a pain in the ass, no doubt. But it's okay. I mean, you can analyze it still. Just a moment. Right. So we were speaking about DXY, and let's get our game going. I don't want to be very slow with this, and also not be very fast with it. Just gonna delete those alerts quickly. Okay. So we saw that 1 hour gap, and I'm two-sided in the sense when I say that. I mean this high right here and that low right there. So I need to see the market behave in a specific manner to really see what it wants to do first. And I mean, of course, there's a bullish market, and by the looks of it, it may want to move higher to this. That's first, and then would be this. But like I said, intraday narrative would be slightly different. Intra-session, in fact, this is not even an intraday narrative. This would mostly be an intra-session narrative. Until and unless it's very well placed compared to the other charts as well. See, that small gap, small area, and that's interesting, and that's what the market should be reaching for, in my opinion. But because London is manipulative, so I would be expecting the first run to be a Judah swing. to be a false run, right? So I think that's pretty much it for DXY. I don't have anything else on this chart that looks very interesting, and let's move on to Euro. Right, so that was the draw we marked out yesterday, and as you can see, the market reached right into it. That's the daily fair value gap, and well, actually, I'm on a smaller time frame. Let me first take a look at how the daily looks. See the bodies right there. I think I did mention it yesterday also. If I didn't, I'm mentioning it right now. The bodies tell the narrative, right? And see how it has closed right in the center and is rejecting from there. Then this candle went straight into it and then rejected from there. I don't think, even though I was saying that we might see a bullish rally, like I was saying yesterday, Euro did not go any higher, by the way. GBP did move higher, did not give a final target, but did move higher, but not the same for Euro. And I don't think we have any news today, right? Nothing, no red folder event. Absolutely, we don't. Okay. We have on Thursday and Friday. 2 days from now. I don't know. The way the market is poised right now, it's definitely bearish. Like without a doubt, it's going exactly there, the red line, and that's what I'm looking at. But I'm just looking at this candle right now, which has not yet formed. Obviously, it is still 15 hours remaining, right? It's today's candle. I'm looking at it, and for some reason, this feels to be a very strong candle downwards. At least like till this low. Somewhere till there at least. That's how I'm looking at it, and going to mark this daily fair value gap just to just to see how it looks on the smaller time frames and how the market has respected it. Like I think it's going to be a very bearish day. By very, I don't mean windfall bearish. I just mean like decently bearish day. And again, we're still on one market and it's already 2 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, see that big fat gap right there? Perfect. That's what I'm looking at. Let's keep it on the high right now. That is what my draw is. Now let's see how the market behaves intra-session. See, yesterday, what happened yesterday? It just opened. This is the 1 hour candle, right? Yeah. It opened, moved higher, and collapsed eventually. Not collapsed, I would not say collapsed. It just dripped slowly downwards, right? And I see that gap there. Do you see that? That is something. Funny part, just to state, I mean, it has been bearish since Asia, and I don't expect it to return at the moment. It may want to come back into it. That would be a stop win, but I'm not expecting that, honestly. Even though London is manipulative, the bearishness that I'm seeing, that I'm feeling on this chart is pretty strong. I don't like, yeah, this does look like possibility in 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, definitely it looks like the market may want to visit that, but if not, if it breaks lower, then it's breaking lower hard. That low. I'm going to mark that low out as well for reference purposes. So these two levels is what we are looking at. This is the day 1 hour order block, right? Yeah, 1 hour order block, and this is just a low we are looking at. So that was euro. So that gives an idea of DXY as well, right? DXY is therefore going to go higher. That's what the approach is. It will want to go into this high and that high eventually. For today, I think this high should be fine, just like euro, that low. Okay. So yesterday's narrative, see, panned out almost. It was just hard to get there, like, 392, like 5-6 pips. That's what was remaining, but that's absolutely okay. Not a concern anymore. Let it be. I'm gonna let it be. Falling down, NWOG, rejection, falling further lower. And this is the first low that I see that should be attacked. Let's just go on the daily. Okay, so I know I see that gap, but it does not interest me anymore. Remove this as well. It'll be that low next. If there is a retracement, which I'm not expecting honestly, but if there is, like a bullish retracement for this rally, like 1 hour, if there's a retracement and it hits that gap or something, some like comes a little higher and then goes lower, then I would expect a very decent bearish move for this low, and this gap should be there in 2 hours. Yep, but not very intriguing. Nope. 30 minutes. Nope. 15 minutes. Nope. So nah, I don't find any gap in this rally, which is interesting to me. Not that the market would not use it, just simply because I don't like any gap there. Nothing catches my eye. So that's GBP. Let's see if it is able to run higher and take those stops out. That would be a nice point of observation. That's a 15-minute gap. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna visit 5-minute here just to check that gap out. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to refine. I am going to refine that further on the 5-minute chart. Looks much cleaner that way. See? So now this is not a 15-minute chart. This is not a 15-minute fair value gap, but a 5-minute fair value gap. Okay. I'm gonna remove NWOG from here. I don't think that is needed right now. By the way, did you notice the fact sorry that the NWOG was respected? You know, I mean it will be respected, that's true, but this is not the NWOG that excuse me that is generally marked. It's a different NWOG. Why a different one? Not I've not done something special. I've just listened to the spaces of ICT, and that's where I really found how to mark NWOGs in the Forex charts, right? I mean, when I first realized it, I was like, fuck, I mean, what, how, really? But yeah, it was shocking initially, and you see the respect of it everywhere. Right here, right there. Magic, right? You know, same goes for NDOG as well, but I'm not going to mark that, not on this chart. It is not required. Well, it may be actually. I'll mark NDOG as well for today. Just want to refer to it. Right, so that's NDOG for today. Let's see if the market can reach into it. I don't expect it to. I really don't, but it can. When does this narrative fail? When do we say it's not going lower? When I don't think these highs should be touched also in my approach, but they seem relatively clean, so there's that question. And 15-minute, nope, that high has to be maintained. If that high is taken, then I have to wait for more data to, you know, really establish what is it that I'm looking for. I mean, my narrative would then be wrong, and then I'll have to reestablish it. So I'm looking for these highs to remain intact, absolutely, without doubt. And actually, I don't want to mark it out because it looks like I'm pointing out a draw, at least to me, and that's not a draw. Actually, I'll not mark it out. See, so these are the highs that we are looking for. In case our narrative fails, then this high would be taken. Like, sorry, actually, I wanted to say the opposite thing. If these highs are taken, my narrative would be failed, right? Then I'll have to establish something new. Yeah, that's for GBP. Now let's go to JPY. Oh boy. Okay. So this guy has been pretty much one directional. Failed to get into that gap, you see. We marked that gap. It took that. What is that, by the way? Okay. Okay, you're aiming for these lows, and that's why that low. Okay. All right, I remember. Right, so we did not take this low. But let's, for reference, just refer cat JPY. Supported, took that low, did it? Yep. Just by a pip or so, like something like very light. But it did take that low. So took those lows out, hit that gap right there, and moved higher. Right? We were expecting these lows, remember? Watch the yesterday's live. See that gap right there utilized for this run. My understanding, we are heading for that high right now. I'm watching to see how the narrative pans out exactly. Actually, like I function in that manner. I like to see the market show me that it's actually one directional. Whichever way it may be, it can be bearish, it can be bullish, it doesn't really matter to me. It simply should show that it is one directional. Now, what is that? That right there is a 15-minute gap. Same look on the daily here as well. It will want to go to that, like to previous day's high, and eventually hit the order block, which it already has hit. And I think we would be looking at 25%, sorry, 50% of the order block mean threshold. We may like yep, I did not check JPY's daily chart, right? Give me a moment. Yeah, I think it would be a pretty one directional day. It has already moved a decent run. If it wants to stop, it should stop today right here. Otherwise it would move higher, take that high out, and come somewhere at the top end of this order block right there. I'm going to mark this out for reference. Okay, now the 15-minute chart. JPY is tricky, and I'm not promising myself to trade that or not trade that, but tricky. Why do I say tricky? Because I think I did mention it in yesterday's live stream. It tends to move separately. When I say tends to move separately, as in the direction is fine. It is like mostly in sync with every other market, but the timing of it is absolutely different. Like it may not move at that same time. It may move a lot after or a lot before. It depends, right? Like what could happen here is it could just consolidate right here, and while euro falls or something, right? Whatever the rest of the markets do, that's what it can do. And that's why JPY is like, for me, for my personal understanding, it's a bit tricky. I think we had some news today. Did we? Yeah. Himino speech, Bank of Japan. So that's JPY, Euro, and GBP and CAD JPY. Now let's move on to USD CHF. That's the daily order block. That it's not the daily order block, actually this is the order block, to be honest. And I think that should be the first draw for USD CHF right now. Above this high and into the order block. Taken that stop. I see those equal lows, but they don't really seem to have my interest. I'm interested in a higher run in CHF as well, taking that high and then that order block. Actually, I'm going to remove that. That order block is obvious, I know, but let's choose a much more clearer level. Expecting this to act as support, expecting this to be the draw for the moment. I know it's a very short-term draw. I'm looking for that high as well. I'm like bullish on CHF. But yeah, that's the first closest draw that we can see. Right. I'm expecting this gap to act as support. If this is where the market comes in, I would expect this price to this level to support price and eventually push it higher. Okay. If I'm saying if we don't move any higher right now, so I'm going to use that as a measuring point. In case we make another high, it would not make much of a difference, but yeah. So where is the low below equilibrium, right? This is the low right there, that low. And then this gap. Okay, nice. I did not see it, but then it saw me. Refining that 30-minute gap further to a 5-minute gap, and that's what we are looking for to act as support for a higher push. I think that would be it for CHF. We've established what we wanted to establish. I'm going to place an alert here first. CAD has been on a spree. I mean, it is bullish. We did mention that as well, but yeah, it looks like in a bit of a rush. Yeah. So I apologize about that mini break. It was not actually a break, it was something I had to work upon. Right. Okay. So watching cat has been very one directional, that high, that high. I mean, that's obvious, right? It's very obvious. I mean, it's right on the eye. That's where it would want to go. If I'm looking to entertain any kind of idea here, I would expect it to come lower, below the midnight open. Okay. Mm, I actually am not very much interested in CAD overall because I know it's going higher, but it's like it's already trended, and if it retraces back into something good, we may want to look at it. Okay, we have CAD news today, by the way. Interesting. Red folder event. Hmm. I think that's it. Now it is about the weight. We established everything we need to establish. Now, how does this change? I'm just saying, like if right now GBP goes and takes that low and it shows any bullish stance again, I would be going long, and that would not be a low probability trade. That would simply be understanding what the market is doing. Okay, I'm just giving a hypothetical situation. If it takes that low and presents, I mean, there are lots of ifs and buts there, right? But that's what I'm looking at right now. Even though I said it's a one directional bearish day, which it most likely is, I'm watching how it pans out and how it behaves once it takes that low. And if it takes that low first. If it moves on higher, then we know exactly what we are looking for. That's a region where you would be looking for shorts, clear setups, and eventually a run lower, right? See that gap? Again, I know there are too many gaps here. I want to make the chart a little more clearer, but I also believe these levels are important. Just to right. So actually, see that 10-minute gap right there, the big one. It looks interesting. The market may want to come back into it before actually presenting a sell-off. I know it's back to back. I mean, it's like back to back gaps. Just bear with me. And I'm actually placing it so it's clear that we know what we are looking for. And I'm going to remove that actually. I don't need it honestly. I know it's inside that daily fair value gap, and I know this gap is important and this gap is important for bearishness. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, I did not change. I need to be very aware that I'm on a different screen. Okay, so yeah, what I was pointing out was this 10-minute gap, and I removed the daily gap because it was important, but it was cluttering the space. So I removed that, and this is 15-minute, I believe. No, 1 hour. Yeah, that's a 1 hour gap, and we're going to write that there. Now I'm looking at that 10-minute gap, also that 15-minute gap, right? It's also there, still pretty much open, even though it has tested it. And yep, I think that is it. We have a complete narrative. Now we wait for the market to show it to us if what we are seeing is on point or not. In my opinion, it would be best if it took that low and then went higher. Not for the bearish. I mean, it's because it has a bearish stance. That's what I'm favoring. So it would actually be good if it leaves that low and moves higher, right? But if I am thinking from a trades perspective, which I should not, but still, just to be, yeah, because I was thinking and I did pay attention to it. So let's just get the cat out of the bag, right? So if it takes that low, that would be a good sign for me to go long. Okay, short term, obviously. But then actually, if it takes that low, then this high would be a little complicated and it may not get there. And I think it wants to get there. So the complete understanding right now is that the market should be moving higher from here without taking those stops and move to these equal highs, and eventually maybe that gap, I don't know if it'll get that far. I don't know that, but this is where I'm looking at. I see gaps in between, right? You also see it very clearly, like 2-minute gap. I think 3-minute would be a better option. Yep, 3-minute gap right there. There was this statement I picked from a movie. Everything remains possible until you choose. Why did that come to my mind all of a sudden? Because I chose a fair value gap on a 3 minute chart while watching 1 and 2 minute chart. So, why was that choice important? See, how I understood that actually initially, I thought it meant what he's trying to say is do not choose. Okay, do not choose because if you do not choose, everything remains possible. And I was smart, right? So I thought, yeah, everything should be possible. Good, I'll not choose. And that's where the fuck up was. What I understood later on gradually कि it's not about कि तुम्हें वो choice नहीं लेनी है तुम्हें choice like everything will be the everything will be possible का मतलब ही इतना है कि if you want anything it is possible, as simple as that. You just have to choose. That's what it was actually trying to say, but I took it to another lane altogether. And see that CHF is running lower where every other market is just stationary. See euro not moving much. That's a 3 minute chart for CHF. I'm going to put a 3 minute chart for euro as well. See, nothing much, but CHF rallying strong. Okay, that's not nice. 1 second. Just give me 1 second. I actually forgot to do something. Yeah, okay. So this is what we are looking at, and this is CHF has been extremely bearish right now, and it's going straight for that gap. I want to see how it behaves there. By the way it is falling, I think it would want to break that and maybe even move lower, because none of the objectives in any other market are still complete, and our bias for this market remains bullish. It should not want to come there. That's what I'm looking at, but it is CHF we are talking about. Now this market is the OG of range bound, right? It remains in a fucking range, like it just plays like that. And I used to love it, because I had that mentality of trading range bound, so I really used to love it. But eventually I realized what it does. It fucks your mind. This is a market where you look, in my opinion, swing trading fine, all right, but maybe a day, maybe two. Don't push it too much with this market. That's what I believe. We've hit directly that gap. That was very quick. Looking at where GB, okay, GBP has actually, sorry, I did not see GBP at all. GBP has actually reciprocated the run in CHF and is heading straight for that gap. Interesting. So it is moving as we have expected. CHF moved a bit faster than expected, so I think even though I said I'm not interested in this low, I think that's where it's going now. Well, if that's where it's going, then that's where it's going. Now I want to see how it behaves there. I'm still watching. Like it's already below the gap in 5 minutes. It hasn't closed below. So that's one thing, but I don't think it will sustain because the run is strong. It will want to take something out from the market before it, pushes back up. And that pushback would not also would not be very strong. It would be slow, 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 and then eventually it would, rally higher. That's what I'm expecting right now. So let's see GBP. I know when such things happen on a 1 minute chart because I used to function like that, so I'm just pointing it out. It feels like, oh shit, I think it's going to go down early and I've missed it and this and that. So 1 minute chart, you're not missing out on anything, okay? That's all I'm going to say here. I'm just watching what Euro is doing. Today my weight is being slightly tested. Why? Because yesterday I waited. And so, yeah. Not in the sense of trading. I'm not saying in the sense of trading. In the sense of waiting on live stream. That's all. I apologize for my dog in the background. Just one moment. Yeah, okay. So we are looking at GBP and we'll be looking at these highs right there. And eventually that gap. I don't know if NDOG would be hit. I'm not expecting it to be. But let's see. You see how it's moving higher, right? But right after this swing, it did not provide with any kind of entry. I love to see that. You know why I love to see that? Because when I see that, I know it wants to get in a rush somewhere and then eventually, if align with the bias, because it did not give the entry. Now everybody thinking like if it comes here, because it has moved so much, if it comes back here, that would be a long, when it would not be. It will just simply rip through it, maybe use it as a resistance and then go lower. So that's why I love when such things happen, like these quick moves where the gap remains unfilled. Euros, see, if you look at euro right now, it's absolutely unclean. Like it's just simply climbing on higher. There's nothing specific, nothing clean about it. That you can read through it clearly. It is just like you're waiting for this gap to be hit first, and then we'll see how it behaves. Right. So yeah, but not the same for GBP. GBP is moving very cleanly and just moving higher, 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 going for those highs and maybe that yellow gap. I'm just watching how it behaves here because it may want to just stop this out and move lower, but there's a but in between. That but is, if you look at this rally right here, that's just equilibrium point. So it would want to go a little higher in my opinion, maybe take these stops out, maybe even that one, but that looks far-fetched. That's like too far-fetched, too early to speak about that. But I'm watching if market shows me any signs of bearishness right here, you know, like it moves up, consolidates, then breaks down, like, and opens up a gap. That's where I'm going short for that low straight away, and that low obviously. And see, DXY has also taken those stops with that gap, but for GBP, I don't think this is it, honestly speaking. I think it would want to go higher and take that high. I'm not, if it goes down from here, I'm not shorting and I'm waiting for a clear approach. I think, see, if now this is something, this is just a scenario again. These scenarios are for better understanding. Like, let's just say it breaks down from here. Let's just suppose it breaks down from here and goes for that low, hits that gap. Now, that would be a long. You see, I hope I'm not confusing. I'm being very clear about it. That would be a long. Why? Because that high still remains intact. That high has not been taken. Because it has not been taken and now it comes back into this gap, I'm looking at that as a long for that high right away. But what am I preferring? I am preferring that it takes that high and then provides me a setup for a sell model, in any form of bearishness. Watching USD has moved lower. See, that's the daily fair value gap being marked out, and look at how the market has behaved. See that? This is not, see, don't take it as a way that this is such a good marking of the level or this or that. It's not about that. Give your mind logic that is visible, that these concepts are precise. What you're doing is precise. If you make it feel random, it will happen also like a happenstance. It would be random. It would not be obvious. The brain would keep fighting you. So yeah, that would be what I was talking about. Was that would be a long, but okay, sorry, I was talking about JPY. I'm so sorry. I already talked about GBP, right? Yeah, so I was just pointing out to the precision. If you see the precision, your mind eventually understands and accepts the logic. It does not fight it. That is why you need to repeat the precision again and again. You need to show it to your mind. What I'm doing is very precise. Interestingly enough, today also my interest is in GBP. Hmm. See the flip. That was again. I'm so sorry about that. See that stop right there on a 1 minute chart. That is really nice. Euro made it to the gap we pointed out. It should eventually move higher and take that stop out. That's what I'm thinking. But let's see. If it doesn't, it's actually better. Why? Because then we'll have a divergence for GBP and Euro. And I would love to see that right here because I'm expecting a strong bearish move. Still watching if GBP behaves in the manner we are expecting. There you go. So we have an impulsive candle right there, which is going to get my tools ready in case we see something we like seeing. And this time I'm not going to fuck with this top. And let me just add that paper trading panel. Yeah, that's that equal high right there, which has been taken. See? But I would expect that. I'm not expecting it to return from here. I would expect it to take that as well, because that is just sitting right there all alone. It would want some company. There you go. Beautiful. That is done. Now when you look at that, I'm just simply pointing something out. Like when you look at that moving in that, speed and rush, you're not thinking of a shot, right? You're not thinking that this could go lower. You're like, this cannot go lower. I mean, this is like one directional. It's going to go maybe that high, that, those levels. That's important right there. But this is exactly what I'm looking for a shot in. I mean, the only thing is I have to wait for the market to show me clarity. Sure, that's important. But this is the type of scenario where I'm looking to short, because it's completely going against everything. The daily bias, the weekly bias tells me we are bearish. The draw tells me we are looking at that low. It came so close but rejected. Now it's going above equilibrium and taking something out, and once it presents a setup, we are going short right there. Read the disclaimer again, please, just for the clarity. This is not trading advice. It's not. I'm just simply showing what I'm doing, and in a sense educating as well. Now see, at this very point, look at how euro has behaved. It did not take the high. It's still using that very gap as resistance, and I would love to see it continue doing that. But what else? I want to see speed below this low. Once this low is taken, I want to see displacement. That's what I'm looking at. But that's not what I'm trading. Not today, even though it does look a little bearish compared to GBP, but it's not as clean. It might go reach the low faster, and then I'll liquidate my GBP position as this low gets taken, right? That's correlation right there. So even though I'll function in that manner, but I'll not be trading this because this is not clean. This is absolutely unclean. GBP on the other hand is very clean, not chopping around, just moving in a single file, let's say it that way. So yeah, it's very clean, and I'm looking for it to show me signs that it wants to go down. Once it does, this right here would be a speed bump and also a target booking point. Honestly, this would eventually become a target for us. I'm gonna mark it with a line just for cleaner, cleaner charts. It gets on my nerves seeing so many gaps there. Yeah, actually I don't even like that. I'm going to remove that. That is just, I've just told you what that is. I'm not going to put it on the chart. Okay, so we are waiting for a setup to form. The narrative is almost established. By the way, what the fuck is DXY doing? Do I think it would want to take that low? I don't think so, because we are at midnight open right there. Just tested it, and this is which time frame? 1 hour, right? That's a 1 hour candle, 1 hour fair value gap, and we are rejecting from its base. Let's see if we get a clear shift in structure on DXY also, like that adds a bonus. That's a cherry on top. And I think DXY did shift structure, right? Yeah, almost there. That's a shift. You should watch GBP. Like, see, you won't, if you watch price in general, you would not expect this to be a short. I mean, going lower, if not a short, at least you'll not be expecting it to go lower. You'll be like, okay, this is going higher. But if you view it from the lens that ICT provides, that's what I think. I mean, I'm not repping for him. I'm not saying everybody needs to learn from him or anything, and nothing like that. Just that I learned a lot from him. That's all. And that is clearly evident in the way I talk, in the way I present, and in the way I read the markets. Now see, what did I say about euro? Remember, I am going to show the euro chart, and well, I'm just going to show the euro chart. What did I say? Once it breaks that low, I want to see speed. Did we get that? We got that right there. So yeah, I'm still following GP. We have a shift in structure for DXY, for euro as well, but not for GBP, not yet. I mean, I know this swing low has been broken, but it's still not a clear structure shift. Like this would be a structure shift. But at the same time, euro and DXY have done it, and that's it. Okay, so we are ready now, and I'm just going to place my entries and then get back to you on the this thing, paper trade. This is not trading advice. There's a disclaimer running. Please read that again. I think I'm being clear enough on that. Okay. Just setting my entries. Give me a moment. Almost done. Okay. Right. So that's done. The entries are set. I'm just going to show you that right now. And let's see. Okay. And what about this guy? Right. That's going to be on the limit. With the TP right there. I understand that this could be a sell right here, but then it goes with a very wide stop, and well, I don't have interest in that. I know the stop could be, I also understand the stop could be slightly tighter, but since I made that mistake yesterday, and I don't want to function from the mistake of yesterday, I mean, honestly, I feel even though there's a big gap, I'm expecting a larger move, a longer move. So since I'm expecting that, I want my stop to be on the high and not, trying to be sneaky with it, थोड़ा सा कहीं से बचा लूँ. I mean, I don't want to function like that. So that's why the stop is at the high. Yeah. See, it has hit that gap, the one I was pointing out, which I did not draw. This one, right? Now, what I'm expecting is, because I have an entry place, honestly, that's why I'm expecting it. that they should reject and look like it's going higher, take that entry and then rip through it. So that's how I see it pan out at the moment. Otherwise, what could really happen is it could just, rip lower, nothing else, nothing to it. It could just break through it completely because euro is extremely bearish and euro has taken that entry. See that big gap? It took that entry and then is going down. But the same is not for GBP. It did not come into that gap. So it could very well, very easily just rip through it and go straight for that low. I would expect it to come back, but let's see if the market really wants to. And this is where I'll write I need to do something and I'm just on a short break. The entries are open. I'll be watching it from afar and I'll be back. I'm short. No. Yeah, I am short actually. I am waiting for that entry, but that's not what I was typing. On a short break. See you at 3:30 New York time. Okay. So yeah, I'm going on a short break. I'll be back. I have some stuff to do. The entries are there. You can be watching. It's 3:17, 30 minutes. I'll be back. I am back. Yeah, so well, looks fear mongering, right? देख के डर लगता है. Not मुझे. I'm not. I'm just simply. I used to feel that. I'm like, I cannot go short here. I have to wait. I don't know, something. Let it fall further, then, and eventually it would reach deep, and I would like, what the fuck just happened? That's how I would feel. And I'm not saying this trade is right. Like, this is not how it functions. It's not about right or wrong. It's about what you're doing, how you're doing it, what process you're following, what logic you're following. It's about all of that. So when you saw this candle taking my entry, if you did, it would feel horrifying. I'm like, dude, this is going to run right there. And that's where you have to train yourself to feel safe with the markets. You know exactly what you're doing. You're following a process, you're following a model. The failure should not affect you. Even if this trade, let's say it just took my entry and went on higher, and this idea would have been executed. That's okay. You still followed the process, and that is wonderful. That is what you need to see. Now, I did explain this very narrative happening. I'm not going to, that's very cluttering. I will not use that gap. I mean, that gap is good, but I just don't want it on my chart right now. So yeah, I did point out to this narrative that that price would hit the gap and then come back higher, take that entry, and then move lower. So that's still what I'm looking for. Let's see what it does eventually. And we see euro fell down, but it retraced back higher and pretty strongly too. But it has still not taken that low. And that's what we want to see, right? DXY has moved slightly lower. JPY is moving lower, not yet. Okay. All right, so let's see. We're just waiting now for GBP to show us if we are on side with it or not. Mm-hmm. Okay, so actually I am expecting a much lower run. If you look at a 15-minute chart, I would say we are going where? Yeah, somewhere in this area, maybe that low. Or if we measure it and if we are on point, like with the direction and everything, then I would say we are going for, yeah, I think the center point of these two targets, right there, 1.34. Let's call it 1.35 big figure, right? That's what we are looking for. So actually, just 1.35 big figure, and that's what I'm aiming for. Let's see what the market does. We will be booking either, like, just to be clear, I am a fan of clear partials. Like, when I say clear partials, I mean not, okay, it dropped for, like, let's say it dropped till here, this low, and I'm like, okay, let's book. No, that's not how I'm functioning. I'm like, where is the first logical target? That is the first logical target. That is the second target. So we can, somewhere in that area, most likely at that very low, not trying to be very picky about it. That's where I'm going to book partials, okay? So that would close majority of my trade. It would not be a small booking, it would be a majority of the booking. And then a bit of the position would be held for that target. That's how I'm looking at it, okay? So let's see if the market presents what we are expecting it to present. Just gonna make it red because I expect this to act as a bearish fair value gap. And let me just set this right. This is where, let's buy limit. That's where the automatically the position gets closed. When I see this low, again, I'm expecting the same thing I was expecting in euro at that time. Once it breaks this low, I want to see it run for it. Like, it should want to just not stop and go straight for that low. Once it takes this low, that's what I'm looking at. That's what I want to see. That would tell me that we are on side and not against the market. And look at what time it is, 3:33. The sweet spot, right? See, all of these things have to align. It's not that, okay, this is a sweet spot, so let's take a trade. That's not how it works. Everything has to align with every other thing. It's as simple as that. There's nothing else to it. The alignment is of utmost importance. If there is no alignment, you won't get what you're looking for, and you would be forcing yourself on the market, and you're going to regret that. So I'm looking at one account and I'm like, should I take the whole TP right at the low, or should I book 90% and let 10% running or something like that? But for this account, since we took a loss in this yesterday, not that I care about it, but I think this is the best thing to do. I would like my TP to be right there and be out of it straight away once it hits. And for the other account, I would be functioning in a different manner. That would be 90% at this low and remaining 10% at the next viable target, which would be, okay, I haven't marked it, so sorry, which would be somewhere in between. Okay, right side, that would be 1.35 big figure. That's what we were looking for, right? Yeah, 1.35 big figure. Yeah, okay. So I'm watching price do its thing, and now I'm going to remove this gap, and I'm going to finally draw this gap, which I have not been drawing for a long time. And now I want to see how market behaves here. Why do I use the term I want to see? Because that gives me the freedom to engage price the way I want to. Now let's just say it takes that low, breaks that fair value gap, but then again comes back up and takes support on this and it's just consolidating. So if I'm hell bent on seeing it go there, I'll not be able to see that it wants to go one more run higher before it gets there, and I would be stopped out and I would take a loss unnecessarily. So this is me being flexible. That's all. Just me being flexible, and you have to be very flexible. This is not trading advice. Fuck, I forgot to say that, right? But I don't care. Actually, the disclaimer is still running. You should not be trading this. You should not be taking this as any kind of trading advice. You should not be investing or incurring any financial risk, opening yourself to any kind of market exposure if you don't know what you're doing, or if you don't have a financial advisor to tell you about it. That's pretty much it. Now this is where I don't want to see it reject. I mean, it can make a few candles, but I'm not expecting it. I'm expecting it to push lower right from that low, which it hasn't so far. So let's see. Let's see how this candle closes. And that doesn't change anything. I'm not rushing. Okay, this candle closed brusquely. I think I need to close the position. No, nothing like that. Like, I'm still waiting for that target, but I'm watching. That these are the things that I'm observing while I'm in a trade. Like, how is the candle behaving right there? Does it want to go lower, or does it want to consolidate and move higher, or something, like, or does it just want to fuck around? So that's what I'm watching every second, every minute. My eyes are always on the chart until unless I'm on a break, like I mentioned just a few moments before. Now, if at this very point, if you see Euro looks pretty much beautiful on the 5-minute chart, but still 44 seconds remaining. So let's see how that closes. And in my opinion, if this closes full, like with little or no wicks, which it is not doing right now, but let's see, still 30 seconds to it. If it does that, then the next candle would want to go straight for the low, but it hasn't done that. So yeah, 15 seconds. Okay, I think this is going to take time. That is all. It might push it in one candle, but looks not in that urgency. Walking back to GBP. Right. So GBP looks, I think we might see some sort of small consolidation here. It could be 5 minutes, could even be 10 minutes, could be more than that. I don't know. I'm just looking at it. See, I've mentioned this before. I don't know how to time this shit. I have tried a lot and I've burnt myself multiple times, so I'm not going to time it. I know my trade, I know my idea, I know my narrative, I'm going to stick with it. So it can finish it in one candle, it can finish it in 10 candles. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm just watching if it wants to finish it or not. Does it want to take that run or not? That's the only thing I'm observing. Honestly, I don't like what I see. That's not a good sign. That's too much bullish energy for a sell idea. Mhm. I want to see this candle reject lower uppers, because if it doesn't, then that's not good. Simply that's not good, because we would want to go for this high, and then eventually maybe close to that high, and maybe even take that high. So I want to see this candle reject sharply, and then the next candle pull lower. It has to show some sort of resistance to going up. Now euro on the other hand is extremely bearish, falling nicely, but GBP has just gotten stuck for some reason, and that's not a good sign. See, that's what I'm saying. That's not what I want to see. But I'm still going to stick with it because I have a bias, I have a narrative, and well, I'm watching. Okay. We have gone absolutely out of sync. Euro is being excessively bullish, and DXY is still kind of bearish. So yeah, it doesn't say anything per se. Again, I'm still waiting for. I don't see anything that tells me that we are wrong or I'm offside. It's just that the market needs some time, and when you're in a big move, when you're planning a big move, that's what I've seen. When you see a very big move going down or a very big move going up, it's going to take time. And I see GBP going for what? Like we saw it on the daily chart, right? We saw GBP wanting to go there, right? So any short move would be a little complicated, would be a little, high resistance, I would say. Eventually it will change that. Eventually it will start running faster, and that's what we want to see, but not right now. Okay. For some reason I'm stuck. I don't want to end the live stream, but my system just got stuck. And well, this is where I need to change the system. Now we can watch euro all this while. Let's see. I know I cannot shift the chart, or maybe I can. Let me try. Okay. Okay. It was not the system. I'm so sorry. I was complaining about it. Wow. That's all right. Okay. Yeah, so we're back to the entry point. Almost. Euro looks like in no mood to go down, which is not nice, obviously. I'm currently asking myself, do I want to be right here? Nah. Nah. The only problem is I don't know what it is doing here. It may want to go higher, it may want to go lower. I don't know. The way it has consolidated, the way it is, doing its thing here, I don't know what it's doing, and I don't know where it wants to go right now. It's in a range. I'm waiting for it to give me clear sign that it's going higher or lower, whatever may be the case. So this feeling is of not knowing what it's doing right now, because this is exactly what happened to me most of the times and still happens, because like I said, I don't know the time. It would consolidate, it would go higher, like other trades. I'm talking about other past trades. I've entered, it moved, then it reversed, and then it's like consolidating or doing something, 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 and I'm like, shit, I'm wrong. Shit, this happened. Shit, that happened. Okay, that's not good. Oh no, it broke that fair value gap and went higher. Now that's not good. I think I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. And that's how I would used to function. So eventually, when I came to the understanding that I don't know how to time it, and I don't want to know now. Like I'm not. Experience would definitely tell me, no doubt about that, but I'm not looking to learn that. Like I'm not striving for it. I'm simply striving to see if my process can be executed flawlessly or not. That's what I'm trying to see. So yeah, it would consolidate, go higher, this and that, not take my stop, but run around, and then it would eventually fall, and I would have already closed the trade or panicked a lot or something, something, something. So that's what I don't like doing that anymore. I'm like, I'll take that stop gracefully. I don't care, because I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm looking for. And yeah, that's pretty much it. USD CHF is trying to slowly climb its way up. It should be interesting to watch, because as this breaks out, if it does, GP would also and Euro would also want to fall down further. And if it falls down further, of course, they are inversely related pairs, right? So if this moves lower, that guy goes higher. If this guy goes higher, that guy moves lower. So that's the approach. I'm looking at it to get some sort of an understanding as to which direction the market would want to attack first. Looking at CAD also, and the way they are falling, I might be off site. Might be. I'm not rushing to it. I'm not rushing to that conclusion. I'm just saying I might be off site. That's absolutely okay. I still know what I'm looking for. I'm still in the trade and I have the narrative in place. So I'll just wait. I'll wait for it to show me something else if it wants to show me something else. Now we're heading into the 350 macro. See that right there at the time, 351. Now we're heading into the 350 macro, and we have been consolidating. We have targets remaining, bearish targets, and Let's see what it does actually. 15 minutes. The current 15-minute status doesn't look very good, but we still have 8 minutes on the clock. So let's see how this candle closes. As for 1 hour, right, we are still 8 minutes away, so cannot count anything still. We have to wait to see how it closes to really get a grasp of anything else. If that closes a doji, by the way, 1 hour, I would expect the next hour to run lower. That's how I'm seeing it right now. And no, I'm not trading candle formations. I'm just simply seeing what the market is doing. That's all. I'm watching all the markets continuously, like CHF, Euro, scrolling through them. And I don't want to do it on the live because it might be irritating in the sense of the video, like in the sense of the playback. So I'm just simply checking why I'm saying that is to let you know and to help you understand in a sense what exactly is the process that you're following. Like, you need to see everything. You need to keep seeing it. You need to, because your mind is receiving data. It wants data to further analyze and further take the next steps, right? So you need to give it more data so it could clearly analyze and look for what it is looking for exactly. Well, I was expecting a quick movement, but we didn't really continue in that direction very quickly. That's okay. I just thought we would be slightly faster compared to the bearish bias that we already have and how this low remains intact. In my opinion, it can run closer till there, but that high should remain untouched. Why? Because that's an intermediate term high on the 15-minute. So if you're bearish, that high should remain intact. Otherwise, it's going higher and it would want to, touch these areas and maybe even take that. So that's what I'm looking at. DXY is slightly gaining bullish momentum, but that is nothing so far. It has not shown anything valuable that wants to go higher. I am waiting for GBP. Sorry, in fact, the euro is also moving lower. No doubt there, but GBP is uninterested. So I believe this would be a stop out now. This is the last level that is holding it. If it breaks away from this, it's done. It's going right there. So yeah, I mean that is personally if that happens, that is something that I feel is not good. Not good because I've just started live streaming and I have 2 back-to-back days of losses. So that is something. Euro is moving beautifully. I mean, really. I mean, that is weird, but yeah, it is what it is. Euro is moving nicely. It wants to go lower, but GBP on the other hand is. And I was thinking that Euro wasn't the clean one when Euro is moving cleanly. So yeah, that happens. That can happen. You know, this I did this once. I took a trade once where, in fact, actually the GBP trade yesterday, right? So GBP went higher, but Euro did not, and eventually broke lower. So the same could happen here. This guy could move lower, but GBP could eventually consolidate and move higher. Right? We could see that as well. And that happens. You will be wrong. I will be wrong. I've been wrong many times. Like I don't care to count how many times I've been wrong. I mean, I've been wrong plenty of times. And what I understand from that is you still follow the process and don't fluctuate your statistics on a day by day basis. Just wait for it. Wait for the week to get over. Right. So I'm waiting for the week to be over and let's see what we have in the end. And then we analyze, okay, this is what should have been done, this is what should not have been done, and this and that, and whatever. But if every day you keep engaging that, okay, this is what needs to be done. Okay, I did wrong here, I made a fuck up here, I should not have placed that stop, I should not have placed that entry, something. It's not worthwhile. It will fuck you up. Your mind would be half dead in this process. And you'll be in a whole lot of regret. So best to avoid all that. I want you to see Euro, not because that GP might fail, but simply because Euro is moving nicely. It wants to go right to the low. So that's what we are watching. If that guy takes the low and GBP is still not willing to move lower, we'll have to collapse the trade. I mean, that's the logic, because these two are correlated pairs. If it takes that low and wants to reject higher, GBP would eventually consolidate and move further higher, right? It would move above the highs. So we don't want that. So once it takes that low, we have to see if GBP has moved enough or not, and we need to start booking. If it has moved enough, we need to start booking, and if it has not, we need to collapse the position right away. Not even think about it. So I'm watching Euro and GBP at the moment. Okay. It closed 1 hour, right? So it was not a doji, it's like a spinning top or something with a bit of body. I'm not complaining, but yeah, that's what it is. Let's see if we get to our first target, because Euro has slowed. No, it hasn't. Okay, it gained speed again. Just as I was thinking, it has moved, like it has gotten slower. Euro pushed lower and is now moving again for that low. So let's see how GBP behaves till Euro gets to that low. Still rejecting from that very gap. And Euro has taken one of the lows and is now rejecting. So let's see. I believe this would be a high resistance run from here on. It may be, take some time, and then eventually by starting of London lunch, like by 5 a.m., sorry, by 5 a.m., it would want to take that low. That's how I'm seeing it. And again, not trying to time it, just simply trying to predict the time. I'm not saying that's exactly when it would do and it should do, but yeah, that's what I think seems possible right now. The next 5 minutes should be more of an expansive candle downwards. Especially once it takes that low again. That's where I need to see speed. Again, not a very favorable delivery, clearly. Well, I don't see anything that tells me that I'm in the wrong direction still. So there's nothing to do but to wait. I think in some sense it's been unfortunate that most of my live stream for the first 2 days has been about waiting. It's not unfortunate, I would say it's a good thing actually, but yeah, it's not been something very interesting. So yeah, that's the question there. It doesn't have to be just have it just has to be consistent. That is all. That's what I believe. As much as I want to say goodbye, I'm like, let this trade pan out and then we'll see. I guess in a sense, I really thought I would end this stream early. There would not be like a lot of time between doing and having and getting and whatever. So I did think that, but apparently, no, the market has denied me. You're not leaving early, you have to be here. You have you have to be with the hard days or you won't learn otherwise. That's what ICT says, and I absolutely agree with that. This is a hard day. I mean, it's not hard per se for me. I know that. Like, it's hard in the sense, it's not really giving you what you want. Everything is clear, but yet not clear. So, yeah, it's kind of a hard day. But if you don't stay with the hard days, you'll not, yeah, if you don't stay with the hard days, you'll not learn. That's what he said, and that's what I believe. Still waiting on GBP and Euro. If Euro takes the low, I close this trade. If GP gives the TP, then GP gives the TP, right? The way it is consolidating, once it takes that low, again, what would we want to see? We would want to see speed. If we don't get it, what does that mean? That it doesn't want to go lower at the moment. That's the whole thing. And that doesn't mean that we are done with the trade, we are wrong, or something, something, something. It just simply means that it will take time. It will spend a whole lot more time to give you what you want. Okay. We have that low and we have that rejection again, at least for now. Let's see. Because euro clearly looks like it wants to go for that low, and that's what I'm waiting for. Once it hits that low, and if GP in case fails to take that, by then I'll collapse this position. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm still waiting. One minute more and 15-minute candle would complete. So that is also something we should watch once it completes, how it looks like. And it looks pretty decent, but only if the next candle can continue. Because if the next candle continues, it will definitely take that red line, that low, that low. That's where it would push off, because there's speed in the market now. And if that speed is stopped, that means it's not willing to go lower. That's the whole point, right? Reading market as to what it is doing and not from the perception of a trade or money making or anything you want to think about. Making someone proud or impressing someone. You don't want to do that. But I know people learn the hard way. It is what it is. It's human nature. Until you go through the pain, you don't really get it. So yeah, 15-minute candle looks decent. Now would be the next 15 minutes should be interesting to watch if we are able to break lower or not. Looking at euros 15-minute candle, that too looks pretty decent. The rejection is a bit on the higher end, and that's pretty much okay. Like, it's not a big issue, but yeah, the next candle, like the next 15-minute candle should, if we are bearish and if we are right on track, this very candle should go straight for that low. Like in the next 15 minutes, we should be taking that low. That's how I see it. Let's see if that happens or not. So we're rejecting again from that very gap. That's why I'm waiting for euro. I'm not waiting for GBP anymore. It may like it can, if it wants to, it can, sure, but that's not what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for euro to take that low. That's what I'm looking at. That's how I'm correlating for this whole trade. If euro takes that low, I collapse the GBP trade. That's the whole approach. There should be volatility in this candle. Let's see which direction it is. Okay. Let's see if GBP can hold that. Nope. Euro is holding it fine, but not the case for GBP. So I guess I'll have to be ready to collapse the trade once euro takes that low, because I don't think GBP is interested anymore. So yeah, I'm watching. I'm watching. I'm ready with my accounts to close this. Just waiting for euro to take that low. You would see it here itself, and it has not. All right, that's interesting. That's very interesting. That's actually good. You know why? Why that's good? Because since it has pulled back and GBP hasn't, at least not yet, it would be really nice to see GBP drop lower and euro consolidate and then eventually go lower. That would be something. But yeah, let's see if it actually does that. Okay. Well, I can't believe I've attracted two boring trades and like two boring days and live streams altogether. I'm kind of amazed. Like the market is just not willing to deliver the way I'm expecting it to. I mean, it's delivering what I'm expecting, but it's not delivering the way I expect it to. And that is kind of weird because it generally does not happen that way. Of course, I lose trades, no doubt, which is obvious, but it doesn't generally happen that it consolidates so much, right? Like it's doing here before it gives me my target or my expectation. So it's also about, it's not just about the live stream, actually it's also about the fact that we have no news this week majorly. Okay, the network is a bit slow, yeah. So we don't have any, you know, high profile news this week. It comes straight away in, I care about the US news. I don't really care much about the United Kingdom and European Union news. Like I care about European Union a bit, but nothing much, to be honest. And yeah, so there is nothing till Wednesday. On Thursday we have something. Like it's an okay day. It's not like something wow, but yeah, all right. And then finally on Friday we have some high profile news, and that is core inflation rate right there. So that's another reason for the market being slow. As much as we want to avoid news is the volatility provider, I would say, not provider, but like volatility, it increases the volatility. That's the whole point. That's why it's a news, right? It's a news event. Still waiting on euro to give that low, and euro is playing around. I'm not saying not interested, but it's playing around for sure. In case of GBP, we don't have enough space to play around. That's the whole thing that should be noted. You see this, the 350 macro came straight running for stops. Just wanted to point that out. I was talking about it when it was running, and eventually it came right for that low and came in very quickly, right? See, by 4:13 that low was taken. So yeah. Now Euro is playing the trick master here. I was relying upon Euro, and Euro is the one who's now changing the whole game, right? So let's see. I'm still watching. GP is still bearish and should want to get to that low at least. So let's see if it really does that. Just a moment. Okay, so yeah, like how really the thought plays, just thinking about it now. I thought it will be a quick session, a quick, in a sense, I thought it would be quick because I saw the speed and I was like, okay, this would be quick. I would take the entry. It's a very clear setup, big gap, like it should rush lower, and just look at where we are. If you try to avoid something, it will persist. And yes, sure, I can leave it and go, that's no issues, but I want to be there till my trade is there, like, because I'm not swing trading. I'm 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 a day trader. I'm basically basing my whole trade on the day. There's nothing else. I'm not pushing it for the next day or the next week or whatever. But yeah, so I like to be with my trades most of the time, until unless it's like too much. Like let's say we hit 5 o'clock and we've still not received that target. That's where I'm going to end the live stream and I'm going to go for a walk or something. And yeah, I'll be setting up alerts and watching time to time to check if it has done what needs to be done or not. or is there something that I need to do? That is also there, right? That's another 15 minutes over, which I was expecting to be bearish, and it has not been bearish. If this high gets broken, I would expect this consolidation to last much longer, and or I would expect it to move higher, something like that. But yeah, I think this high should remain intact overall, which would be this one right here on the 5-minute chart. I think there is volatility coming, not on this candle per se, but I think we're going to see some rush soon. Euro looks like it wants to go lower. Nah, it doesn't look like anything. I don't know. I'm still waiting. My draw still remains there. I'm not expecting higher prices. I'm expecting it to be lower, but it can change that direction, of course, right? That probability always exists. So, but my draw is still here. I'm looking at this very low for Euro and eventually for GBP also. Okay, so like honestly, I am like now tired of this. I'm not closing the position, but I'll not be waiting because when I've done this and when the session is, when it's consolidating like this, I don't spend too much time with it. I've already spent a lot trying to understand when and where it will go. So I'm just going to leave it to it now. I'm just going to leave to it now and let it do its thing. And we'll meet again in the New York AM session. See you there. And I'll share this, like obviously I'll share in the New York AM session as well what happened here and what I did eventually. So yeah, see you there at 9:15 New York time. Bye bye.